We're at the Sundance Film Festival 2020.
Creating creatures and characters for movies.
Air Hollywood, we're the largest aviation film studio in the world.
I learned how to create my own props, breakaway glass.
A robot actually is capable of acting.
I think this is one of those that says something to all of us.
I could just beam into your studio as a hologram.
Sword fighting, it's balance, tempo, timing, target placement.
Your film is being screened now on online platforms.
There's no substitute for going to a cinema with 1,200 other people and seeing a movie like this.
The togetherness from our hearts will be intact.
Hey Tom, and I would like to ask you first about the movie. As I was saying, your film is being screened now on online platform. How do you see the future of the platform and moving from the cinema to the online platform?
There's no substitute for going to a cinema with 1,200 other people and seeing a movie like this. We made it for a theater. It looks fantastic up on a big, huge screen. The sound is something you would feel as long as you would hear.
Is there a specific approach you've used to further clarify your emotions to the audience in what you already found challenging?
I suppose the physical stuff I found sort of not easy, but more accessible. I think the hard things were the emotional stuff. It was like, you know, there were certain moments in the show where that kind of caught me by surprise, really.
Russell, I would begin with you now, and I want to ask you first about, are you really a hot-tempered driver in your real life, and do you face the same rate when you're driving in your normal life with the same speed or not?
I tend to be pretty chilled out in the car. You know, I like to drive, but I like to go out for long trips, you know. Where I live, for example, in Australia, in the bush, I'm 600 kilometres from Sydney, you know. And so I'll get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then I'll be here, you know, by 10:30 in the morning, you know. So, and that's normal. That's just a normal drive.
The real Ivan was raised as a baby with a human owner, and he then he actually did paint, and it was in the painting that then brought more of the attention of the news and the world, but that also brought attention to his environment.
Play that father who is, you know, will do anything in these trying times to try and protect his family in the midst of this craziness. This story is so relatable because this guy he's not a Secret Service agent, he's not a superhero, he's just a dad, and he's not even a perfect dad, but he's you know, he's trying his best, and you know, there's a lot of redemption and atonement in this story, and it's very powerful to watch.
You chose to die instead of giving up your colleagues. That test you passed? Not everybody does. Welcome to the afterlife.
Lots of discussions taking place all over the state here with a lot of very talented, committed, you know, smart people, you know, trying to work through this, trying to get people back to work, trying to get the cameras rolling here in California as soon as possible.
Hey, Mom! Stop it! Blazy, down! Sorry, I didn't get a chance to walk her. Oh, bad dragon. Back to your lair.
I think what it is, you know, I've always wanted to work here. You know, it took me a long time to work here. And once I got in, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm here. But then, you know, the bar for doing a Pixar movie is so high.
So we're at the Sundance Film Festival 2020 in Park City, which you can see. It's a ski resort and it's amazing. I had my first feature here 10 years ago in competition in the American section. And because I went to NYU grad film, we would always come up here to see movies or have meetings to make these features. So I know it really well. So probably the festival I know the best.
Stan Winston's School of Character Arts is an online school, a virtual school, dedicated to teaching students worldwide the art and science of creating creatures and characters for movies. Students come to us and they can start from the very beginning, learning how to design a character and then how to bring it into the real world using clay sculpture, digital sculpture, and then molding it, casting it, fabricating it, and making it full size.
Air Hollywood هو the largest aviation film studio in the world. كل الطيارات وكل الأفلام والكوميرشلز والميوزك فيديو ويوتيوبر كلياتهم بيجوا لعنا مشان يعملوا أفلام بقلب الطيارة، لأنه الطيارة هي للطيران مش للتصوير. من هيك العالم كلهم بيجوا لعندي مشان يصوروا، حتى الطيران himself يعني كل الايرلاين بيجوا لعندنا مشان يصوروا.
The biggest chunk of money you make in movies right now for any movie is in a movie theater. Except if you're talking about indie films, if you're talking about wide release films, it's the biggest chunk of money is going to the movie theater. So that's still the basis for everything. Everybody's kind of hoping and has been hoping for 20 years that streaming or pay-per-view or video on demand will be this nirvana where you put it in people's houses and they all just watch it and all subscribe to see it and they're going to make so much more money. But so far, every time they've tried it, it's failed.
I started a little small business called Smash Props, and I just had a handful of breakaway bottles and a few rubber props, and that quickly grew to the point where I decided I needed to make this a legitimate business, and from that, New Rule Effects was born, and now we have, thousands of props, and we're servicing all different types of shows and productions all over the world.
That test you passed? Not everybody does. Welcome to the afterlife.
Tenet has done some advertising. Most notable, they took ads on Fortnite, the big video game, and that's an unusual step. But what they've done instead of advertising is release so far 2 trailers, and those trailers have created so much conversation.
There's a lot of things that go into the training of sword fighting. It's balance, tempo, timing, target placement, as well as movement and using our body to communicate to the other actors.
We scan your feet with the 3D scanner, and then we make your foot out of wood or plastic, and then we start building the shoe according to your dimensions. We're known for making shoes to your exact measurements right down to the millimeter.
Well, Karate Kid was first time I was audition. Chuck North recommended me. They called me a guy named Pat Johnson. He's the stunt coordinator. So he called me and said, I got Pat Morita, but he doesn't know karate, so I want you to help.
Is it true you were taken away from us when you were very young? Yes? Oh, you're one of us now.
You'll notice in Hannah too, sorry to interrupt, Mireille. I can say, and I hope Amazon is listening, I didn't touch a human being, not a single person. Didn't come into contact. I was socially distanced for most of the season. And would be happy to do the same again soon.
I started my storytelling career as a ballerina, and so physical storytelling was how I told stories for the first part of my life. And I think this genre, because I didn't have access to this 30 years ago, in the last decade has really given me, I think there's a gratifying nature in going back to that kind of storytelling that I really appreciate, that I really respect.
How was the energy during the shooting?
I got to play Lenore opposite some astounding actors. You know, every day someone amazing was put in front of me. I mean, to work with Corey was just great. I always thought he was such a great actor.
We had a robot character in our movie, and we didn't want to go with visual effect. So we come up with the idea maybe it'd be better to hire a real robot to play in the movie. So, but it was very difficult journey because we couldn't find a robot actually is capable of acting until we met Erica.
This unit can take a hologram of a person from wherever they are in the world in real time. So when you want to do an interview in the future, we might not have to do this in person. I could just beam into your studio as a hologram, and that's what Portal was designed for.
It's going to be special. It is going to be special for everyone around the world, and I think this movie has that magic touch. It's about possibilities. It's about forgiveness. It's about trying again. It's relevant to what we're living, to what we're dealing with at the moment.
Have a nice vacation and Merry Christmas for you both.
نزل التردد الجديد 11785 الاستقطاب رأسي. معدل الترميز 27500. معامل تصحيح الخطأ 5/6.